There's one question that every yacht owner has, which is, am I ready? Simple question with a difficult answer. And in this video, we'll explain why and what you can do about it. Hi, I'm Richard. I help owners of well-maintained yachts understand why they fail and what to do about it. So back to the question, am I ready? This is a question from an owner or captain's perspective, and really to answer it, we must first understand what yacht readiness is. Let's start by explaining by what it's not. Readiness is not solely a property of the boat, although the boat is part of it. Yacht readiness is not maintenance, although maintenance contributes to it. Yacht readiness is not what you know to be ready, it's what is ready or not, whether you know it to be ready or not. Finally, yacht readiness is not what you know to be ready today, but what must be ready during a period of time. So I hope that's not too cryptic. If it was, you'll understand soon. Here's the definition. Yacht readiness is whether a yacht remains fit for its planned use during a period of time. Let's break this down. Let's say we have three identical yachts, identical in every way. Now let's put them in three different scenarios and assess if each of these yachts are ready. So the first yacht is pulled out of the water, put on the cradle in the boatyard for winter, and just really has to sit there. That's scenario one. The second yacht's heading out for a day sail. Nice weather, no more than a mile from shore. There's a Coast Guard station on the headland and they have mobile signal. Finally, the third boat is heading for a 1,000 nautical mile ocean voyage. I think you all get the point already. Readiness must be assessed against the planned use of the boat, be that sitting on a cradle, going out for a day trip, or going for an extended ocean voyage. So the planned use of a boat is a key ingredient of readiness. Now, let's focus on one aspect of readiness and go deeper still. Let's look at the engine service and work out if these boats are ready against that one readiness criteria. So let's say the engine's got 1,450 hours on it. The last service was at 1,000 hours and the boat has a 500-hour service interval. That means they've got 50 hours until the next service. So let's ask the questions again. The boat sitting on the cradle, will it stay ready against this one readiness criteria? Well, the answer is yes. The engine's off. It's not going to be turned on until it goes back in the water. So the engine counter is not going to progress forward. So it's going to stay at 1,450 hours for the duration of the time. It will remain inside that readiness threshold. No problem. Boat 2. So they're going out for a day trip. Let's assume they're going to run the engine for about 8 hours. That means by the time they come back, they'll have 42 hours until the next service. So they remain clearly inside that readiness threshold. Now, finally, the ocean voyage. And this is where it gets interesting. So on the day they leave, are they inside that readiness threshold? The answer is yes. They've got 1,450 hours on the clock, 50 hours remaining, so they are ready on the day they leave. Now let's go to halfway through the voyage. To make the math easy, let's say they travel at 10 knots for a 1,000 nautical mile journey. So at the midpoint, they will have run the engine 50 hours. So that means technically they're right on that threshold of readiness. They're not over it, so they're still ready. So at the midpoint, they are ready, but really on the margin. So the next question is, when they arrive at their destination, will they be ready? Well, the answer is clearly no. They will have used the engine for 100 hours. So that means the engine count will be at 1,550 hours at the end of the trip, which means they're 50 hours overdue for a service. So by that strict criteria, they're not ready, but for practical purposes, running a well-maintained engine, 50 hours over the service, it's probably not going to break down, but that's not really the point. So what have we learned? Let's go back to the definition. Readiness is whether the vessel will remain fit for its intended use during a period of time. In this simple example, we've actually identified the elements of that readiness definition. The planned use on a cradle, day trip, ocean voyage, and the period of time. A few months on a cradle, 8 hours on the water, or an extended period on the ocean. And we identified then the first two scenarios against the one readiness criteria we used in our example. The boat remained ready. In the ocean example, the boat was ready at the beginning, crossed over a threshold, and was not ready by the time it arrived at the other end. And there's a really powerful point to make here. A lot of owners ask, am I ready to leave today? And they may even use readiness checklists to support that decision. However, often these checklists only assess the condition today and do not project into the future. What's often missing, especially on longer trips, is how readiness decays over the period of the trip, and will you still be ready by the time you arrive at the other end? Again, I can hear people pushing back saying, Richard, that's all part of voyage planning, but I'll continue pushing on anyhow. We all know we do maintenance because boats deteriorate without it. And what we maintain is usually the same set of items over and over again. The engine, the impeller, cleaning the seacock strainer, anti-fouling, anodes, etc. These sort of things which are highly visible on our radar and are reinforced because we do it over and over again. But the definition is remain fit for the planned use. And one of the reasons readiness remains elusive is because of all those 100 other things which could go wrong on the voyage. And we often have no idea when they're going to cross their readiness threshold. The worst examples we've seen are keel bolts failing mid-Atlantic, fire extinguishers out of date and not working when they're needed, and probably a bunch others that you can think of too. This goes back to my example of what readiness is not. Readiness is not what you think is ready. Readiness is what is ready on your boat or not, whether you know it or not. And often it's the things you don't know which are going to give a well-maintained boat's problems. And another point is, it's not the maintenance you do that's going to catch you out. It's the maintenance you didn't know needed to be done that's going to catch you out. So one of the really core properties of ensuring you're ready is knowing that visibility of your boat and knowing what is on it, what condition it's in, and when it needs work to prevent failures underway. So one of my core arguments in my upcoming book about readiness is that readiness is really an informational problem. If owners knew their keel bolts were going to fail mid-Atlantic, they would not leave on that voyage, I can guarantee it. It's the fact they didn't know which leads to the disaster. And again, that goes back to another point I made at the beginning of the video. Readiness is not maintenance, but maintenance contributes to readiness. And for you to be ready, you need to know what you need to maintain. In the simple example in this video, we see that an engine service will return the engine back to readiness on this one criteria. However, there may be other things an engine service doesn't pick up. There could be corrosion inside your oil cooler, which could lead to overheating or worst case, sinking of your boat. There could be a seal on a pump about to fail. That means your pump's not going to work on the next go. There could be a seacock that doesn't close, lead to flooding of the boat. All of these things, unfortunately, do happen. On a boat, there are thousands of small items that could lead to your boat being in a non-ready state. So here's the answer to why well-maintained boats fail. Many well-maintained boats follow a pattern of maintenance over weeks, months, and years. Why they fail is not due to what they're maintaining, it's usually due to what they're not maintaining. It's those items whose condition is not known, which means their readiness is unknown, and even the most diligent owners can fall into this trap. So what can you do today? Well, given I spent the last few years developing solution to this problem in software, I have a few answers for you here. The first one is, every owner knows there's something on their boat which should be looked at, but they haven't done yet. You can get a piece of paper, you can write them down and make a plan to go look at them. And when you go look at them, don't look at them in terms of how big the job is or how small the job is. What you need to look at is the severity of outcome. Start with the ones that could lead to very risky or dangerous situations for your boat, you or your crew, and then work down to the ones which are, maybe a minor inconvenience. Another thing you can do is look back at the history of your boat, look at what caught you out by surprise. Have a look at these and go, well, should I look at them again? And can you identify a pattern about what caused these failures to occur? Was it the age of your boat? Was it you just didn't know it existed? You thought it would last and you didn't? Or another reason which explains the pattern of failure. Finally, I mentioned I help people with their yacht readiness. I've got software and I've got services where we walk through that with you so you can get a more holistic view of your boat, track key readiness criteria, which is hundreds of them, give you a readiness dashboard so you can see everything in one spot, help you plan your maintenance, plan your voyages, work out when work needs to be done to prevent failures, and we can help you turn a well-maintained boat into a ready boat for the purpose you put it to. So thanks very much for watching. There's more coming. Comment below if you want the pre-release pricing for my new book on yacht readiness, and I look forward to seeing you on the water. Thanks very much.